So with Thor Love and Thunder right round the corner, it comes out July 8th, so it's pretty close now, and I can't wait to see it. It's going to be an amazing movie. And in today's video, I thought I would make a video on 5 Marvel characters that have lifted Mjolnir in the comics. Now, obviously, as we know, in Love and Thunder, Jane Foster obviously she becomes Mighty Thor and repairs Mjolnir, obviously, as we can see. Now, I will be making a video on how she did this and what could be happening in this movie. Obviously, her character in the comics does have cancer, and she obviously becomes Mighty Thor, and I think that it does seem like they're going to go off that storyline for her character, so I think that's going to make a lot of sense for the story going forward in the movie. And yeah, I thought today I'd make a video on 5 characters in the comics that have lifted Mjolnir. One of them, obviously, we've already seen in the MCU. So, many characters have lifted Mjolnir in the MCU. We saw Vision, Captain America, who will appear on this list later on. And yeah, there's many more characters on this list that I haven't included, but I will get onto them. I will explain them later on. So if you do enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first character that could make an appearance in Love and Thunder, which I really think they should, and I think it'd be really cool to see, is Beta Ray Bill. Now, Beta Ray Bill was one of the first characters to lift Thor's hammer outside of Marvel's Norse mythology. Bill was the chosen protector of Corbinites, an alien race. He tangled with Thor over a misunderstanding and managed to wield Mjolnir's power. When Odin made Thor and Bill fight for the hammer, Bill won. As a result, Odin gave him Stormbreaker and a similar hammer to Mjolnir. And Beta Ray Bill is a very interesting character, which I'm surprised he hasn't been mentioned in the MCU yet, or we haven't really seen him much in the MCU yet. But I think Love and Thunder is a perfect movie to include him in, and I think many people have been saying that he could make an appearance in this film because in the trailers, it does seem like someone has been CGI'd out of the trailer, and yeah, I think it could be Beta Ray Bill, could be Gamora. They might be hiding the fact that Gamora's coming back after Endgame, but yeah, I think it should be Beta Ray Bill because he's such a cool character, and obviously, yeah, he was one of the first characters to actually lift Mjolnir in the comics, which is very interesting. The second character I've got on the list is Magneto. Now, Magneto is obviously an X-Men villain and is also a very interesting villain who will be coming to the MCU very soon when the X-Men make their full appearance in the MCU. I think he will probably be the villain and will continue on. Maybe even we find out that he is actually Wanda's actual father in the MCU, but like biological. Maybe her parents that we know in the MCU aren't actually her biological parents. But yeah, Magneto is a very cool character, and despite the hammer's inscription, unworthy, characters or villains have been able to lift Thor's hammer. Magneto lifted the hammer once by cheating in Marvel's Ultimate Universe. He changed the electromagnetic field around the hammer to wield it. Notably, when Magneto tried the same in Marvel's regular universe, he failed, as the hammer made of alien Uru metal is resistant to Magneto's manipulation. Now, Magneto is a very interesting character, a very interesting villain as well. His powers are unique and they're very cool to see in the MCU, or in Marvel Comics, and the X-Men films as well. He was very cool in them, and I think he's such a cool character. I think obviously the speculation going around recently as well, I definitely think he will be in the MCU. It's just a matter of time. It will be with the X-Men obviously, and yeah, it's just interesting to see him lifting Mjolnir, a very different character. The characters I've got on this list are all very different, and they're all very unique in lifting Mjolnir, and he lifted it in another universe. He couldn't lift it in his main universe, which it could happen in many other universes as well. So the next third I've got on the list is Red Hulk. Now, unfortunately, we probably won't be seeing Red Hulk now in the MCU. Like I made the video yesterday on the Thunderbolts, I said about this upsetting death of William Hurt. It was very sad, and like I said, I don't think they're going to be recasting. I really hope they don't. They shouldn't be recasting him. And yeah, I think his character could have been very cool, and it's very upsetting to see his death. And obviously, the character won't be continuing. But in the comics, Red Hulk, he did lift Mjolnir, and the Avengers joke about whether Hulk is stronger than Thor. Whatever the answer is, Hulk has never been able to lift Thor's hammer in the films, obviously, because you have to be worthy. But however, in the comics, Red Hulk was a different beast. He completely thrashed Thor in single combat. During a battle in space, Red Hulk used a lack of gravity and his own strength to smash Thor with Mjolnir. So, in space, he lifted Mjolnir, which is very interesting and weird to see. But Red Hulk arguably could be stronger than Hulk, but yeah, in the comics, Red Hulk was a very strong and unique character that was very different to the Hulk, he was very different to the Hulk in the comics, and a very cool character which would have been very cool to see in the MCU. The next character I've got on the list is Loki. Now, Loki, obviously the brother of Thor, you know, a god of mischief. He's a very cool character, and I cannot wait for Loki season 2 in the MCU. Obviously, season 1 was amazing, but obviously Thor was upset and from his death, and obviously, as we can see in Love and Thunder, we see that Thor has got a tattoo of Loki, or Loki's helmet, on his back. But no one could be further from lifting the hammer than Thor's adopted brother and god of mischief, Loki. However, in the comics, an inversion spell was cast to counter the Red Skull. It turned the heroes into villains and vice versa. Loki found himself to be worthy of Mjolnir after years of jealousy and hatred towards his brother. He wielded the hammer for a short time, so it wasn't a very long time. He had Mjolnir for, but you know, he still lifted it. He still, you know, got hold of Mjolnir, which is very cool to see. You know, his adopted brother, who was very, like I said, jealous of him, and yeah, I think it's very cool to see that. And last I've got on the list is a character we've seen lift Mjolnir in the MCU in Endgame, which was such a sick scene. It was so badass, and it's Captain America. And if anyone is worthy to wield Mjolnir apart from Thor, it is 100% Captain America. And in the comic run, Captain had lifted Thor's hammer in 1988 when ambushed by Grog and Demons of Death. And in the Fear Itself run, Steve Rogers managed to have his shield shattered. However, he lifted Thor's hammer and rallied the rest of the team to fight Serpent and his minions. So, you know, we've seen this happen in the MCU already, and it was such an amazing scene in Endgame. It gave every Marvel fan goosebumps in Endgame. Such a cool scene to see, you know, Steve Rogers, Captain America, fighting with Mjolnir, and obviously Thor fighting with Stormbreaker. It was very cool to see, you know, Mjolnir from obviously the past, because obviously Mjolnir got destroyed in Ragnarok. But yeah, it was very cool to see, and I think we all kind of knew all along that Captain America was, you know, it was definitely teased in Age of Ultron that he was worthy, you know, when the Mjolnir moved slightly, when Cap tried lifting it a little. And yeah, I think it's Captain America is such a cool character to see in the comics lift Mjolnir. Now there could be many more characters on this list, and you know, you guys list down below which characters I missed out, but here are some characters that have listed them, which I won't go into much detail in. But yeah, these are some characters. You know, Deadpool lifted Mjolnir, a very goofy character and very cool character who will be coming to the MCU very soon. And obviously Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, who also lifted Mjolnir in the comics, and many other characters who also lifted Mjolnir, like Jane Foster, which we will be seeing in Love and Thunder. So yeah, those are the 5 characters that I put on this list that have lifted Mjolnir in the comics. Obviously, like I said, if there's any characters that I missed out and you love in the Marvel comics, tell me down below who have lifted Mjolnir, and I'll, you know, look at them and read the comments. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video today, please like, subscribe. I hope you had a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.